Hey guys, what's going on? Kimberly Denise here, and I wanted to share my most recent blog post and Facebook note with you because I thought that the philosophies inside of the post were really, really important because a lot of times people think that rich people and poor people have such a big gap in between them that if you're in the poor category, it's difficult to get into the rich category. And I just want to share with you that that is false. That's a false idea. And so there's hope for you if you happen to be in the poor category. There's hope for you that you can become into the rich category by just changing a few things. And it's simpler than you may think. So this Facebook note here is titled, "If you want to be able to do what rich people do, then do what rich people do." And what that means is basically, if you want to have the nice houses, nice cars, if you don't want to worry about your bills, if you want to take lavish vacations and you want to wear, nice clothes from designers that you love, if you want to be able to donate money to causes and charities and foundations that are close to your heart, and you just want to be able to help the world and help the people around you and help your family, which that's the kind of stuff that rich people do, then you need to stop doing what you're doing now, because the results that you have in your life now, the reason why you're getting those results is because of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So it can be as simple as just changing what you do on a daily basis to do the things that rich people do. And how do you know unless you know a rich person, or maybe you're going to read about rich people, right? There's a couple different books to start off with. You can read Think and Grow Rich. It is the #1 book on success, or how to become rich, or how to become wealthy. I highly recommend that book. But you can read biographies on successful people. You can go to YouTube and listen to interviews and audios, and I guarantee you that once you start to seek out this information, you're going to see that there's a lot of congruencies. There's a lot of things that rich people have in common all across the board, whether they're athletes, millionaires, whatever group they fall into. If they're rich, they all have something in common. It's the things that they do. It's the habits that they have. So let's go ahead and begin. So it says, what do rich people do differently from the poor? Please understand this. Rich people in general are no better than poor or average people. They just happen to have a couple of things that poor and average people do not have, most of which are by choice. So it's really choices. They're making different choices, different decisions in their lives. So the first thing is information and philosophies. Rich people generally have different information than poor people. They usually have an education, which most of the time in my experience I've seen is self-education. Not to put down college, but most of the time rich people have educated themselves in a particular niche or subject, and they've created wealth off of that. And they have different philosophies which they live by. #2, a valuable skill set. Rich people usually have a skill set or the ability to bring an immense amount of value to the marketplace. One very, very good example of this is an author or a public speaker. A lot of people have created their wealth from becoming a public speaker in their niche, whether it's fitness, whether it's success, whether it's sports, whether it's business, whether it's network marketing. It doesn't matter. If whatever niche that you're in, if you decide to become a public speaker, that's the #1 paid profession in, I don't know if it's in the world, but I know it's in the United States for sure. So public speaking, become an author, share your ideas, share the value that you have inside of you. And #3 is habits and rituals. When poor people are sitting in front of the TV or sleeping, rich people make different choices. They read books, they exercise, they work on making themselves or their businesses more valuable and profitable. They don't have minimum wage activities. They don't do things that aren't going to affect their bottom line. Yes, they have leisure. They have leisurely time, where they go and they have fun. They do things that they want to do, then they enjoy. But you have to understand that for the most part, look at television. You don't have to be a genius to flip on the TV and realize that the stuff that they have, the crap that they have on TV nowadays, is doing nothing but distracting you. It's making you want to be something that you are not. It's making you feel inferior. It's making you feel like you have to buy these clothes or look like this person or have this prescription because you have this pain. It's all a bunch of BS. And if you spend less time watching the TV and watching media and being in the news, then you're going to find that your life begins to change. Slowly but surely, but you know what, it is going to change. And then here's a list here of 20 things that rich people do every day. It says, and I got this from a Facebook friend of mine, I'm not sure where he found it, but Number one, 70% of the wealthy eat less than 300 junk food calories per day. 97% of poor people eat more than 300 junk food calories per day. 23% of the wealthy gamble. 52% of poor people gamble. Number two, 80% of wealthy are focused on accomplishing some single goal. Only 12% of the poor do this. They don't even set goals usually. Let me just pay my bills is usually what you're thinking, right? Number three, 76% of wealthy exercise aerobically 4 times a week. 23% of the poor do this. Number four, 63% of the wealthy listen to audiobooks during commute to work versus 5% for poor people. You have to understand something, that music sends a message. Music is hypnosis. So if all you're doing is feeding your brain music and useless music that's just full of lyrics that are, maybe they're violent, maybe they're depressing, I don't know what you listen to, but you really have to pay attention to what you put in your mind, because what you put into your mind is going to come out in some way in your life. And if you don't believe it, just take a note of how your life is right now and what you're putting into your mind, and I guarantee there's some kind of a correlation. Number five, 81% of wealthy maintain a to-do list versus 19% for poor people. Number six, 63% of wealthy parents make their children read 2 or more nonfiction books a month versus 3% for poor. 70% of wealthy parents make their children volunteer 10 hours or more a month versus 3% for the poor. That's interesting. I didn't really know that one. Number eight, 80% of wealthy make happy birthday calls versus 11% of poor. These are getting interesting. Number nine, 67% of wealthy write down their goals versus 17% for the poor. So it's not enough to even set a goal. You really need to put it on paper or put it down, or get it out of your head and put it onto something so you can actually take a look at it and see it. Number 10, 88% of wealthy read 30 minutes or more each day for education or career reasons versus 2% for poor. That's incredibly low. Number 11, 6% of wealthy say what's on their mind versus 69% for poor. Number 12, 79% of wealthy network 5 hours or more each month versus 16% for poor people. Number 13, 67% of wealthy watch 1 hour or less of TV every day versus 23% for poor. Number 14, 6% of wealthy watch reality TV versus 78% for poor. Number 15, 44% of wealthy wake up 3 hours before work starts versus 3% for poor. I can relate to this because there were some times when I was working and I was broke and my life was in a place where I thank God every day that it will never be again. But there was times where I would wake up literally like 30 to 15 minutes before my shift, and sometimes that shift would be at like 11 o'clock. And yeah, this is before I had kids, but I can relate to that, so I know it's probably true. Let's see, let me go back down here. You can hear my son over here wrestling in his crayons. Number 16, 74% of wealthy teach good daily success habits to their children versus 1% for poor. Number 17, 84% of wealthy believe good habits create opportunity, luck versus 4% for poor. Let me read that again. 84% of wealthy believe good habits create opportunity. No, I'm just going to go ahead. I don't really understand that one. Number 18, 76% of wealthy people believe bad habits create detrimental luck versus 9% for poor. Number 19, 86% of wealthy believe in lifelong educational self-improvement versus 5% for poor. Number 20, 86% of wealthy love to read versus 26% for poor. So what is the lesson here? The lesson is, if you want to become rich, and you just need to change the way you do things. You just need to start doing things differently. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, living the same year over and over again, spending your day in the exact same routine over and over again, and hoping it'll get better. Hoping somehow, magically, it'll just get better, and things will change, and you will achieve your goals, and your dreams will come true. It's insanity. It really is. So it really is as simple as that. So just start doing what rich people do, and I assure you, you'll begin to have and attract and create things that rich people have. You will begin to have opportunities just literally fall into your lap. You will make friends, you will begin to meet people, you will begin to just even notice things in the world and in life that you didn't notice before. So guys, I hope that this was valuable to you. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Stay tuned for my next vlog video, and I hope you guys have a great day. God bless. See you later.